wrestles and serves at my side, and of all who assembled within those walls, that I was the hope and the pride. I had riches all too great to count, and a high ancestral name, but I also dreamt, which pleased me most, that you loved me still the same, that you loved me still the same, that you loved me still the
Hello folks, this is Donna Marie here for Eclectic Paperie, and welcome to one of our online classes. Today we're going to be making some beautiful graphic 45 tags, and I'll show you the examples here. We have 5 tags we're offering in this class. So there's 2 and 3, and here's the 4th one here, and then the 5th one I'm going to show you in a second. These tags are great. They're using all the new graphic 45 papers, the springtime line. We're also going to be using, you can see the oval here, some layers from Tim Holtz's new dies that are out. We're also using some beautiful Melissa Francis items, her little resin pieces here. We have one here and one up over there, the little frame. We have some cute little spools that we're including. So these pieces are 3D. They're not just totally flat. They're 3D pieces, and I'll bring it up a little closer so that you can see the detail there. Great detail. I love all the 3D layering. It really gives it a beautiful, beautiful presentation. You can put these on tags. You can put these on gifts. Tags, they are tags. You can put these on gifts, I'm sorry. What I also like to do too with these, I've given these out as gifts, not just a tag in and of itself, but I've also put them in little mini frames. And this is the last tag that I'm going to show you. I've put it in a frame just to give you an idea that you can really give these as gifts as well. So this is the last tag that we make, and you can see that that's Tim Holtz's new die, the pocket watch. And we have a little jar there with some really beautiful glitter in it. And look at all the nice layering and all the detail in there, and it sits beautifully. This is a 4x6 frame, and I picked it up at Marshall's or wherever, you know, if you have a discount store, wherever you you know, like to shop. You can pick up more of a you know, sparkly, glittery frame, whatever you'd like to use. But the 4x6 frame, so the photo here that would be sitting in there is a 4x6, and that's a perfect size for all of these tags that we're making. So you know, if you wanted to put this tag in there, you can certainly do that. It fits in there beautifully. What I did for the background piece here, I just put a piece of white corrugated cardboard just to kind of cover up the background. But you can put in decorative paper, you can put in colored paper, whatever you wish. And all of these tags fit in the 4x6 very nicely. Sometimes, like this one, sits just on top of it on the outside a little bit, but that's okay. And this one, the little detail on the outside, the ruffling does also. But the rest of them slide right in there beautifully. And I think they would make a beautiful presentation for a small little gift. I just gave my mother one of these for Mother's Day, which just passed. Today's May 13th. It was yesterday. And she absolutely fell in love with it. She adored it. She put it right on her bureau, and it's a cute little presentation for someone special. So let's move along, and we're going to start with the first tag right away. The first one that we're going to make is this one here. So I'm going to put these aside, and I'm going to be covering all of these tags individually and how to make them all. So in your kit that you've received from Eclectic Paperie, all the supplies are there to make this tag. Excuse my nails here. I've been doing a lot of inking and dyeing, and that stuff just doesn't go away that easily. So anyway, so all your supplies are in the kit that you need to make this this tag, and actually all 5 of them. So let's start with this one here, and I have all my pieces all cut and ready to go. Let me get those together here. And by the way, the only extra supplies you're going to need, I use Zip Dry. That's my favorite adhesive you can use. I also have the Beacon 3-in-1 that you can use. Do not use a tape runner. That's not going to hold the pieces together very well. So you're going to need something that is liquid. I'm not sure if white glue, maybe it might not work, I'm not sure. But I do know that the Zip Dry is fantastic. That's what I use. I'm also going to be using a little bit of stickles. This is also not included in your kit, and I'm almost positive that I think everybody has some sort of glitter glue in their collection somewhere, and I'm using Stardust from Ranger, the stickles. But it's up to you. You can use any kind of glitter color that you have. I also used a couple of drops of this liquid pearls, and this is also by Ranger. I absolutely love this stuff. I used baby blue and I used pearl pink. These are both available on Eclectic Paperie. Once again, if you want to add them to your collection of stuff that I know we all have. We don't like to admit it, but we all have it. You certainly can. If not, it's not imperative. The stuff looks beautiful, just as beautiful without it. So let's get started. This tag measures 4.5 by 2.5 inches when completed. And in your kit, you're going to receive a piece of chipboard. And that chipboard, you're going to have to cut a 4.5 by 2.5 piece of chipboard, and then a 4.25 by 2.25 piece of chipboard. So cut those 2 pieces. Also in your kit that you've received, you're going to have a piece of the Secret Garden collection paper, and this one here is called April Showers. And you're going to cut a 4.5 by 2.5 piece from that, and that's going to layer up on top of that chipboard. And then you're going to cut a piece of excuse me, 2.25 by 4.25 piece, and we're going to use the opposite side of this April Showers paper, and then that's going to go on the other chipboard piece. Okay, so you're going to glue those on to the chipboard piece. And in your kit, you've also received a piece of white corrugated cardboard. And this is going to be 2 by 4. I didn't draw it on here because it's really hard, and I didn't want to ruin the texture there. So this is 2 by 4 is the piece that you're going to cut, and that's going to layer up on top of there very nicely. So there's how you created your nice layering of the tag. Okay, and I will in a minute glue all these and then come back and show you. But I have a couple of other things before I leave to have you work on. One of them is in your kit. You've also received more paper from the Secret Garden collection. And that's this one here. And this one is actually called the Secret Garden itself. And from this full-size sheet, you are going to cut, see that section right there? I've outlined it. This is, you know, just with pen. I've outlined it. You're cutting out those blue flowers. So this is fussy cutting. So you're going to cut out those 4 blue flowers. 1, 2, and then this one here is a double one. 3, 4. Okay, and I've provided a photo in the kit so that you can see it up close, so that you don't have to come back to the video and keep watching it. So you're cutting that out. You're also going to cut from the Secret Garden kit, and this is called Springtime paper. Can you see that? The rose right there, that's all outlined. So this one here. Okay, and once again, there's going to be a still shot available for you so that you can see exactly where the lines are and what you're cutting out. Now, just a little bit about cutting before I leave you to do all your little work here. when you cut, please be careful that you're not cutting the paper, literally, you know, cutting right through and getting to the section that you want to. Please be careful that you cut just the section out that we're looking for, because I've used a lot of this paper on these tags. You know, a lot of the paper is double-sided, so I've used some, you know, some sides of one, some sides of another, and I really, excuse me, I really don't want to have you ruin any of the other images that we'll be cutting out. So try very hard just to stay within the lines and just go into the area that you're cutting and using and keeping the rest of the paper intact as much as you can. Okay? One other area that we're going to be cutting out, and this is on the Beautiful Blooms paper. This little guy right here, it says Rose. And I'm going to demonstrate that a little bit later when we finish our tag up. You can see that that's the little banner here that we have hanging off. That's where that came from, right there. So I'll show that, I'll demonstrate that a little bit later. But for now, what I'd like you to do is to layer up your papers onto the chipboard and glue those down, secure everything, and then cut out your flowers that I just showed you which ones to cut out. Cut those out and then come on back and we'll put and assemble everything together. Quick little demonstration on cutting here. You can see that I just cut this little section out here that I needed for my card. I'm going to put that paper aside. And you're going to need a sharp pair of small scissors. And I love these scissors. They have the rubber handles. I love these. I don't even know where I got them, but I absolutely adore these scissors. But any kind of small, sharp scissors will do. And when I cut my flowers out, or when I do any kind of detail fussy cutting, I cut into the paper and I start moving around the flower. And what I do is I literally move the paper. So instead of trying to get your, move your scissors and getting into all the little details, excuse me, all the little nooks and crannies and details, you're actually going to move the paper, and it helps quite a bit when you're fussy cutting like this. And it doesn't really take that long, and I'm not going to bore you with all the cutting that we have to do. And when you're cutting, I've given you a detailed line on what to follow, but you're an artist, you're a designer, you've done all this stuff. Have fun with it. If you cut a leaf off, not a big deal. Cut a flower off, not a big deal. No one's going to know the difference. You can always add another one. You can always have fun with it, improvise. So there's the first little flower that I've cut out. So when you're cutting, move the paper around. It helps a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to put the rest of this together and I'll be back. Okay everyone, I'm back. I've cut my pieces out and I've layered everything up. So here you see that I've got this little guy cut out here. I also have my little blue flowers cut. I have my paper adhered to my chipboard, and just a little added note, I did ink my edges. On this one I used tumble glass. On the original I actually used vintage photo. You can see the brown around the edges. So have fun with the colors. See what you have in your stash. See what you have that you want to use. Or you can certainly purchase these through Eclectic Paperie. We do have all the colors of distress ink. But I think by now most of us have something of that nature. So I used tumble glass on this one just to kind of change it up a little bit. I put my 2.5 by 4.5 paper on. I have done my 2.25 by 4.25 paper, and now I'm going to adhere those together. And once again, I love my zip dry. And I'm going to stick these two together. And then on top of that, I'm going to add my 2 by 4 inch piece of corrugated cardboard. This is the white. So that layers up on top of there nicely. Okay, so here's the tag coming together. Now, in your kit, you've received one of these strips, and this is from Prima. My God, I love their stuff. It's just so elegant and beautiful. This is their lace with gems, or lace, I think they call it, say it with pearls, and there's pearls and gems on here. I absolutely love this. This is gorgeous. So what I've done is I've cut a piece and I've attached it down the side here. So what I'd like you to do is just kind of eyeball where you need to cut and just cut that right across. Now I like to go in between the flowers and not, you know, cut them up too much. So I kind of cut in between the flowers. That's just the fashion designer in me. I hate to cut flowers out of lace. So there's my piece right there. It's going to lay right on top. And all you have to do is peel this off. It's already has adhesive on the back of it, which is great. Peel it right off. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? So you don't have to add any adhesive at all. And I lined it right up along the edge of my white corrugated cardboard and stuck it on. Okay. There we go. Tell me that's not a beautiful thing already. Alright. Next step, in your kit you've also received a small little resin Melissa Francis cherubs. And there's like 4 different versions of this cherub. There's this one here in the original with the double face, and then there's a smaller one, and then there's a actually a triple one. And this is how they come. They come 4 to a card here. So it depends on which one you're going to get in your kit. They're all the same size. They're all the same weight. It just does different designs. So I've decided to use the double one just to change it up a little bit from the original. And this here is going to sit at the bottom of my tag. But before I glue that down, I want to make sure that my flowers that I've cut out and I've trimmed out, all fussy cutted, are going to work in there and they're going to look good. So I'm going to kind of eyeball it and make sure that you know, everything is sitting exactly where I want it to and looking good. The thing about cutting these flowers out and fussy cutting them is I've learned that, you know, they look beautiful when they're cut out and they're gorgeous, but when you put them on, they're very flat looking. So what I like to do is I like to give them some life, almost like a real flower would look. So I start bending them a little bit and creasing them, and I just use my fingers and my nails and my thumb, and I kind of bend up and I bend back, making kind of the leaves look like they're standing up. And I just kind of go around the piece, making sure that everything has a little life to it, a little bent life to it, so it looks like it's actually real and it's not a flat piece of paper. And you can just have fun with this. You can even put a couple of extra cuts in here, so if I wanted to, I could put like an extra cut in there and release that leaf a little bit so they separate a little more. Could certainly do that. And bend this a little more. And this is only paper, guys, so don't be panicking, don't be freaked out. I've had students before say, no, I can't do that, I'm afraid. It's only paper. My God. So bend your leaves, give them a little life. And that way when you put this on the tag now, it's not looking like it's just flat sitting there. Okay? So this gets placed with the little buds facing upward. Okay, and then I have my little blue flowers here, and I'm going to do the same thing with these, and I may cup them a little bit and kind of, you know, pinch them in a little bit, pinch the petals in, make it look like they're a little bit alive and they're real. Okay, and this one would go in the corner here, and the big one is going to go up in the right hand corner. So you can play around with these a little bit and give them some shape and some life. You could also trim the petals out if you'd like to. You can certainly do that. This one goes in the top over here. And then this one here sits right above there like that. Okay? So I'm going to pinch this one up a little bit. And then we're going to glue all this together, and then we have a few more little elements to put on. And then, believe it or not, this tag is done. These come together pretty quick, folks. They're not fat, and they don't take long. They're pretty fast. All right, so now that I see where everything is going to kind of end up, I can start gluing now. And once again, I'm going to use my zip dry. I'll put a little zip dry underneath there because I know that's where I want that paper to sit. And I just glued the center here so that the rest of it can kind of stand up a little bit and show the pretty flowers that we've bent and manipulated. The next piece I'm going to put on is my resin piece here. And you'll notice that it's a little bit wibbly wobbly here because of the pearls underneath. The lace and the pearls and so forth are not letting it sit very flat. So I'm just going to pick one of those off, and they come apart. You know, use your nail and you can kind of pick that one off a little bit so it's not rocking too much. And I'm also going to use just a little piece of foam tape on the other side here, just to make up the difference of it sitting on the lace, because the lace is making it rise up one side higher than the other. So if I use that, one thing about zip dry, it does not stick very quickly. It doesn't dry very quickly. So that piece of foam tape helps this side not be so wobbly. Okay? Now this little flower comes down in the corner here, and I literally tucked it right under the resin piece. So my glue I'm just going to put right on the corner, right on the edge there, and kind of tuck it under. And then this little piece came up. And you can rearrange these any way you like. If you're not happy with what you see here, you can certainly rearrange them any way you'd like. It's your tag, and no one's going to know any different. So put that little guy right there. This one I have sitting under the rosebuds there, and I'm just going to glue just in the center because I want the edges to curl up. So we're going to sit him right there, and look at that, it's coming together pretty nicely, huh? I love the way it's looking. Okay, in your kit you've also received a little mini butterfly. And this is a Martha Stewart punch, and what I like to do is I bend it in the center to make it look like it's fluttering a little bit, and I'll put just glue just on the center area where I bent it because I want the wings to stick up a little bit. And that goes in the corner, sits right there in the corner, and sometimes I use my scissors just to kind of pinpoint some stuff and get it to sit the way I want it to. And there we go, folks. We're almost done. Look how quick that came together. Now the last little bit here is the rose banner that I told you about earlier, and that's from this paper here. Okay, and I'm going to use a bigger pair of scissors to cut this out. And all I did was I cut straight across above and below the rose, and I left a little bit on the edge there so I can do my little banner edge. Cut that out. And I like using a longer scissors for this so that, you know, we can cut a little bit straighter. And I'm going to even it out a little bit. And you can use your trimmer if you'd like. I don't like using my trimmer for something so small. Now, you're going to have to kind of determine where you want this to sit and how much you're going to take off the edge there. So I'm determining that I want this to slide underneath. That blue rose right there. I want to stick out that much, so that's looking good. Now I'm just going to trim off the edge and give it that little pointed edge here. Trim that back a little bit. And what I like to do is I snip in the center, and then I go from the corner to that snip and take that piece out, and the edge there, the corner to the snip, and take that piece out so you can see that, oh, where am I? So you can see that you have that nice little banner edge there. And then I'm just going to roll it around my finger and then roll it back again. And then take this edge and flatten it out a little bit because it's going to sit out. And then we're going to slide it in and we're going to glue it down. You may have to finagle it a little bit to get it in there. And that's where that's going to glue down. And I'm just going to glue the flat part that's sliding in because I want the rest of the banner to curl and come out. And I'm just going to use my scissors just to make sure it adheres. And there we are, folks. There's the first one almost done. Look how nice that looks. Now, there's a little empty spot in the corner over here that you can certainly add another flower from your paper. The original The Secret Garden paper here. If you'd like to cut out another little flower, you can certainly do that and add that in there. This little rose on the edge would be pretty. This is where the fun part comes in. You can really have a little bit of fun here and decide where you want everything to kind of hit and go and fall. And you don't have to get very particular about stuff, because once you start manipulating some of these flowers and making them look real and bending them, give them a little bit of life. You can certainly put that one in the corner right there. That would look nice. I think I may do that. And when I glue, I just glue the centers, hold it down so that the edges can still pop up. All that paper manipulating. And you can use hot glue if you'd like, a glue gun if you'd like. If you feel like you want this to dry a little bit faster, you can certainly do that. And there we go, the last little thing that you need to do in your kit. You're going to be receiving some jute twine. And you can see that all I did was I cut a piece, I just glued it on the back, and I put a couple of knots on the end. So it's not very difficult to glue that onto the back there. And then I did add some stickles and some glitter and some pearl dots. You can see that I put a couple in the center of the butterfly there. I put some on the flowers. I put some glitter on the resin here. And a couple of dots here and there. And you can have fun with that. I put some more up here. And you can certainly have fun with that. But for the most part, your first tag is done. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and we'll be back to make 4 more tags.